When Formula One introduced their sprint weekend trial in 2021, they aimed to spice up the show and give the fans a more exciting race weekend. However, I don't think the F1 bosses would have expected their sprint weekend format to produce such dramatic clashes between the two championship rivals. 9 weeks after colliding with each other in Silverstone, Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton are back at it again during a sprint weekend, but this time in Monza. Unlike at the British Grand Prix, this incident unfortunately took out both drivers from the Italian Grand Prix, as Verstappen's RB16B literally finished on top of Lewis Hamilton on lap 26. The replays of the accident and subsequent photos are going to become iconic in what has already been a crazy 2021 championship. As the races tick down in the calendar season, the rivalry between Hamilton and Verstappen is quickly becoming one of the all-time great F1 title fights. Their massive accidents in both Great Britain and now Italy are giving us flashbacks to the days of another legendary championship battle. Throughout 2021, many have called Verstappen vs. Hamilton the modern-day Prost vs. Senna. After the latest drama in Italy, it's getting harder and harder to ignore the parallels between these two great championship duels. The fierce battles on track, plus the war of words off track, is reminding F1 fans that this 2021 championship is getting as memorable and as heated as it did back in '89 and 1990. And much like those classic seasons between Senna and Prost, this modern-day battle between Lewis and Max are giving the current generation of F1 fans something special to witness. Although quite different, you have some distinct similarities between the two rivalries. You have the young and hungry generational talent going up against the established and experienced world champion. You could see Verstappen fitting the role as Senna with his fiery driving style and take-no-prisoners on-track mentality. Max very much embodies the quote said by Senna himself about going for a gap, as evidenced by his latest move in Monza. On the other hand, Lewis Hamilton could fill the role as Prost with his superior consistency and intelligent driving that sees him always in position to get the maximum result. Comparisons aside, we are witnessing an intense and bitter championship battle much like we did some 32 years ago. But the fight between Verstappen and Hamilton might reach levels of animosity not even seen in the Prost and Senna days. Just remember, this is only the first season in which both drivers are competing for the championship on a relatively even playing field, and think of how many incidents they've already had. The photos of Senna and Prost planted in the gravel in Japan came to be defining memories in F1 history. Hamilton and Verstappen have now had 2 of these types of accidents, with both drivers refusing to back down from each other. The big difference being the British and Italian Grand Prix were not championship finale type races. They happened roughly in the middle of the season, and we've still got potentially 8 more races to go and another sprint weekend on top. If the fireworks between the two continue, we could be on for an explosive finish to the championship, much like we saw in Japan back in 1989 and 90. The Turn 1 incident at the Italian Grand Prix will reignite a heated debate as to which driver is at fault for a race-altering collision. Some will say Verstappen caused the accident and should have backed out of the move going into Turn 1 and 2. Others will say Hamilton didn't give enough space to Max and squeezed him into the sausage curb, which then launched Verstappen airborne. The debate will rage on for weeks, even as we go into the Russian Grand Prix, after the stewards deemed Max at fault and handed him a 3-place grid penalty for Sochi. Although the wording of the stewards' decision is sure to add more gasoline onto the fire of debate, but that topic will be up for discussion in our upcoming podcast. No matter where you stand on this incident, the real winners after the Italian Grand Prix are the F1 fans. Of course, we don't want to see Max and Lewis crashing into each other and getting into dangerous situations, but the drama and ferocity between the two drivers and the teams are setting up an epic end to this season. Many of us were not around to witness the iconic Prost vs. Senna battles, so for us, Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton are providing us with a modern-day classic. Crashes and drama aside, it is important to remember and enjoy the fact that we are all witnessing a special season of Formula One. A championship battle between two rivals that, with many more races to go, could even exceed the likes of Prost versus Senna in many aspects. So what did you think of the Hamilton and Verstappen crash in Monza, and where would you rank their championship battle in F1 history? Be sure to submit your comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button to show your support. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you all for our Italian Grand Prix recap podcast later this week.